From the station that made country music famous, 650 AM WSM, this is a Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast. Hey, it's Charlie Matos, and in this episode of our Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast, we sit down with For King and Country. Joel and Luke Smallbone joined us in studio, and boy, a lot to talk about. A new album out, a new tour, including a really cool event in the Mojave Desert we'll tell you about. And as we look ahead to the holidays at the end of the year, 2 nights at the Grand Ole Opry House. Enjoy our Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast with For King and Country.
Coffee, Country, and Cody on WSM.
For King and Country in studio trying to rename the show.
Well,
I think they wanted to rename
I was just saying
well.
Charlie should be Carly, and then you've got Kelly, Carly. You know, it's
Look
like
at that right there.
Are you up for that?
I'll check. Do I get top? I don't get top billing on this
No.
scenario, do I? No.
No.
Well, I already
I'm
don't get that to
sorry.
begin with, so I'll just keep my name. So.
Joel and Luke in studio with us this morning. Guys, I'm so happy to see you.
It's nice to see you again. It's been a minute.
It has
I think
been
it was a news station last time.
Yes, I was at Channel 4.
There you go.
You came in. Luke, I don't
know why I wasn't with you. I mean, I'm so sorry that
okay.
I
We've
missed
had an
you. 'Cause
argument
I know we've been always really close. You and Joel haven't been that close, so I'm glad to know that you guys got to catch up a little bit.
It was fine. It was fine. He was a little jealous.
There you go. Yeah, I get it.
I usually catch you guys on the Grammy pre-party carpet here. That's like our yearly thing because you guys get nominated all the time, which is kind of cool, right?
It is. It has been one of those special parts of the journey that you never think. You never think like,
Right.
oh, you don't set out to do music for accolades, but when it comes upon you, it is quite a special recognition. Sure.
It's incredible. It's incredible. And there's been so much going on with both of you.
And it's a beautiful trophy. I mean,
really
it just no, seriously, visually, it's stunning, right? I mean, it's a
yeah.
beautiful award.
You know, they still hand make them, evidently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they hand make them with a machine.
Oh, that's fine.
Something like that.
That's fine. Do they, when you win, do they have your name engraved on them right there? I know some awards.
No, they send
do.
it to you, but they send it to you in like this foam box. And one of the things that's been interesting is that the foam box has become
Because it's the shape.
Because it's
of
the shape.
Oh,
of the
so even
Grammy.
that's collectible.
So even
Yeah.
that is kind of collectible.
Gotcha,
You're right.
yeah.
So there's a lot of people that are like Grammy and then the foam.
Don't ask
box.
Luke where he stores.
Where do you
his.
store it, Luke?
Well, I have to confess something. I hope nobody from the Grammys is listening. So the other day I'm going through my attic. All right, and I was
You have
picking
4
up different,
sons under the age of 10.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got
3
3 boys
sons
and
and a girl.
little girl.
Yeah, need to
And I
practice.
was going through, and what I had done was in the past is I was like, you know what, get the Grammys, and I was like, guys, you will put them up in your room just because you're the ones who sacrificed so much for this, and so they would put them up there. Well, kids like to pull things apart, and so I literally found the Grammy
Yeah, this is
in
we're gonna
a
get
pile
we're gonna get fined for
that
this.
was like, because you can take off like the grandma horn part of the, and so it had been unscrewed, and the bottom, like there's a screw under there, it was basically in pieces. And I just looked at it, and
Luke,
I
put it-
wanted to
put it
I
back
wanted to take
together
a
very
picture. I wanted to take
meticulously.
a picture and just say,
Yeah,
well,
it
and
wouldn't-
tweet it.
It wouldn't.
Well, I don't know.
Tell me you're a parent without telling me you're a parent.
Yeah.
Jeez, there it
Yeah.
is.
Anyway.
Oh, my gosh.
Anyway,
So you got to put back together.
we got to put that together. It's all good.
I will tell you, if this makes you feel any better, I do know a few people who have Grammys, and I was at their house, and they keep them in their bathroom on the back of the toilet.
Wow.
So,
You had
I mean,
done,
the
it had
attic
landed there at one point.
I don't
for
know.
you,
Yeah,
hadn't
I
it?
mean, yeah. I'd heard somebody else say that they had used it as a door stopper, and I felt like that was maybe a hair too intense, but at the same time, kind of great as well because they're weighty.
They are
and so you
weighty.
can put it, and keep the door.
Here's the thing that I really love, especially about the CCM genre and covering the Dove Awards and K-Love Awards, and it is never really about the award. And the person that wins, it's like everybody's excited for them, but it's not the same intensity that you feel at, I think, other award shows, like at the Grammys. There's not the daggers.
Well, let's talk about the elephant in the room. It is a little bit like what we do, at least partly what we do, is we write songs about God. And
Right.
this whole idea of Jesus Christ was, for you to become the least, then you become the greatest. It's this sort of upside down kingdom.
Right.
So the idea of like accolades and award shows is just sort of odd. So I think people are like subtly trying to sort of counter the weirdness of what's happening. They're like, yeah, this is great.
Like,
Everybody wins.
We're not making false idols right now.
No,
we are
yes,
not.
that's right.
We are
That's
not.
right.
But congrats, and I liked your song and your song too. But it is also one of my favorite things to cover because it's such a family atmosphere.
It is a family atmosphere.
And everyone loves everyone else.
And I also think it's kind of a reason to get together every year. And in some cases, everybody's moving in such different directions that it does feel like a little bit of a class reunion every year. And that's, I think, why you have that kind of joy that takes place at those events, is because it is kind of like, man, I heard about this, or I really enjoyed that piece of art that you did, and just want to say congrats. And that's
we feel like Kelly, the same in the country genre is amazing too. I mean, when we were able to do this God on the Nose feature with Dolly, and she sort of just threw us into the mix. It was like, this is a really, like, the CMAs felt the same. This really cool, I'm sure there's a little bit more of a peek behind the curtain at points, but like it just felt like, oh, this is a family. And what was so nice is we felt invited into the family. Like, little big town room, our kids love you guys. Like, people just passing by the dressing room. That was probably because of Dolly, but nonetheless, it was still very sweet.
Well, and talk about that just a little bit. How did that all come about?
Well, we just on this last record, Burn the Ships, prior to the one we just released, we'd sort of stumbled into the collaboration world. We hadn't really collaborated much until we collaborated.
I mean, you guys are a collaboration by definition.
By definition,
yeah.
right? We're brothers, for sure.
There you go.
But two of the junior managers for Dolly, Taylor and Kyle, actually, I taught in like a teenage men's group years ago, and they are now on her management team. So I called them basically and said, "Hey, would you listen to this song and basically pitch it to Dolly?" And I thought, this is not impossible.
Got to shoot your shot.
I shoot the shot. A week later, Dolly's on this. She's going, I think this is one of the great songs I've ever heard. She said, "I was just saying to my manager I wanted to get more involved with inspirational music, and here we are." Whoa. Yeah. So what's been cool, Kelly, is like since then, even with What Are We Waiting For, this new album, we've got more features, and I think it's partly due to Dolly, like Sleeping at Last, Kirk Franklin, Tori Kelly, Dante Bowe. We've sort of invited a whole bunch of people into the record because of how marvelous these collaborations were on.
Isn't that amazing? You know, and I can look at the top 10 right now in country music, and I can tell you there are at least 5 collabs that are happening. And I think part of that, too, is we were so isolated during quarantine that now that everyone is starting to emerge and come out of the bubble, it's almost like I want to do stuff with all of my friends. I want to make the music, and I want to do the collaborations, and I want to bring people in that I never got a chance to before, because you don't know.
And I also think I think the pandemic kind of revealed what's very important to people.
Sure.
And I think that people have realized how important relationship is.
Yeah.
Friendship
Music
is.
and relationship.
Music, all of those types of things. And so in some cases, I think it got a little less competitive. And people are like, man, I don't really care, but I really have enjoyed getting to know you and the person that you are. So why don't we do a song together?
Less competitive, much more inclusive, it feels like.
And I love that. Yeah. Tell us about Broken Halos. We're going to play that video.
Track 2 on the new album, which released a Friday a week ago, which we're just thrilled about. And we
Still has
shot
that
it.
new smell.
It does.
That's right. Leather.
We shot it outside Palm Springs at an iron
ore mine,
factory or
mine.
Mine. And it was the same set that Christopher Nolan shot the final scene of Tenet on, fun fact.
Oh, wow.
And the whole idea of, speaking of, inclusion, the whole idea of Broken Halos as a song is this that we're so quick to create judgments of one another and ourselves. But if we could all recognize that we've all got our issues, we're in this sinking ship together, that maybe that judgment would give way to compassion and empathy, and then we could sort of all rise. So in this music video, we're flying.
Oh, I love it. Okay, Broken Halos. This is for King and Country right here on Coffee, Country, and Cody.
And Kelly.
Got up on this high horse and couldn't find a way back down. Trying to find a true north, but everything's the wrong way around.
And right now in studio for King and Country, They're hanging out with us, talking about all the things that have been happening. I haven't seen you guys in a long time. So
the only thing that
I'm
I'm a little confused about is, coffee, country, Cody. There's no coffee. Where's the coffee?
No, I was a bit upset about the coffee.
We should have offered.
And I'm also speaking of just sort of morphing the name. I'm going to say that the country in Coffee, Country, and Cody is actually for King and Country.
Yes, there it is.
Coffee,
Look at that.
Yes. Well, we were here to make the announcements, but you guys figured it out.
Now we're here sparingly
yes.
for it to be named after us, but you know what? We're here today.
You know what? We're happy to have you guys. And you actually did that. You guys did a playlist for us, I believe. There was a
WSM playlist. Yes.
Playlist.
Yeah. What was it like?
I think I did that more than Luke did.
Okay.
So you're welcome.
Curated this.
You're
welcome.
That he just made. He looked at me like we sure did.
Yeah, we sure did.
No, that goes back to the whole collaboration, just rubbing shoulders with one another. That's what I love about this town, honestly. Even being Australian sort of immigrants, which we are American citizens, by the way, Charlie. We got sworn in.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's
We
official.
took that test.
We took that test. I
And
took
we
it way
passed.
later than Luke. 2 homeschoolers passed the American immigration
I don't know
test.
if
Out of curiosity, where did you do it? Because I lived in Miami, and once a year they would do a massive swearing in at the Orange Bowl for like thousands of people, and it was like so emotional.
Epic.
It was
epic.
It was
I will
crazy.
say this: so you take the test down in Memphis,
Okay.
but I got sworn in the Nashville courthouse, and see, I thought very naively that I thought it was going to be like going to the DMV. Nobody told me that it was going to be like a real thing. And so I get there, go to the courthouse, I give them like my paperwork, and I had to surrender my green card and some of these other things. And then all of a sudden you realize, okay, there's 60, 70 other people over here.
From 24 different countries or something.
And what was really special is the judge gives a speech. And you kind of do a swearing in, you do all these different things. He gives a speech. And what was fascinating is there's people from different countries that this is everything to them. And it moved me and made me go, because the judge made a comment. He said, look, we're basically a country built off of immigration. And he said, so what will you do for America? And I was like,
sort of like,
what am I going to do? I don't know. I'm going to find out.
Bring
Yeah,
your
it was amazing.
ideas, bring your faith, your food. Like it's an emotional experience that I think everyone should every American should sit in one of those rooms. To your point,
You'll be more
Charlie,
proud to be an American
because
after that.
you'll
Truthfully.
realize how much the world loves this country and wants to be a part of America. So yeah, it was pretty fascinating. And you got to think, as a judge, like my father-in-law's a judge, all they do is negative stuff, and for
Discipline
one
people.
moment,
Right. Yeah.
they get to do something positive for this group of people. So they're just as happy as everyone else in the room.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
How hard was the test?
Well, they give you a
No, you
CD
wouldn't,
ROM.
Paul.
I probably
No,
wouldn't.
you wouldn't.
Thank God for the government. I got a CD ROM still, I think, and it has all of the answers. So you just put it in your car.
But what's fascinating is they give you a book, and there's 100 questions that they can ask you, and they pick 6 or 7, but you have to basically know the 100.
All the
'Cause if you did get on a
everyone.
string of, well, I didn't really know that, and then you have to have if you get 6 right, you're done. But I think if you're out of 10, if you only get 5 right, you fail, and you have to do the whole process again. Pay all the money, all the fees.
there's no leniency.
Yeah, no, that's definitely you want to know that test. You don't want to mess that one up.
I'm glad you guys passed.
Yeah,
glad
thank
you're
you.
here.
We're here.
You're doing wonders for America, by the way, boys. So thank you. Thank you for all.
I feel very patriotic right
Yes,
now. This
I
is
know.
very all
This
right.
is good.
Red,
A new
white, and
collab-
blue.
Hey, somebody get Lee Greenwood on the phone. These guys
There
have
we
to do a
go.
collaboration.
Oh, I would
Okay.
agree with
Okay,
that.
that'd be
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Tell us more about what's been happening on the music front. And you did a special shoot. There was a little kink, though, like rehearsals. You went out
Yeah.
in the middle of a sandstorm.
So we've, as I said last week, we released this record. What are we waiting for? And the prior record, Burn the Ships, was more kind of nautical and sort of water based. This one is much more drop you into the desert, sort of desert adventure, sort of emulating almost what we've walked through this loneliness and desolation almost of the last couple of years. So we thought, well, we should shoot a special, but why don't we do it in the Mojave Desert? That sounds fun,
Sure.
right? Bring the whole band out, the camera crew, got out there, and I'm telling you, 30-mile-an-hour winds.
30, 40. And it was one of those moments where it was like, you got out of the car and you just basically were like, I should just get back in the car and drive back away. Because it was just not happening. Right. I mean,
Did
the
you
sand's
see?
hitting. Yeah.
Sometimes.
but the sand is hitting you in the face. It's like pins
Hence
and
the
needles.
term sandblasted, right?
I mean,
Right.
it's-
Oh, yeah.
It's
There you
not
go.
it wasn't a fun.
So we postponed a day.
Okay.
Everyone rearranged flights, a whole 9 yards, and by the grace of God, the next day was just perfect. So this Friday, 7 p.m. on our YouTube and Facebook and so on, we'll be playing all the new album.
I think it's Thursday. But
Thursday. Sorry.
Yeah.
Thursday.
But it's
That's
Thursday.
okay.
Yeah.
That's all right.
We're all allowed.
Thursday
This
is happening.
Thursday
we're all allowed
New
a mulligan.
album, Thursday, 7 p.m.
Yeah.
That's 7 p.m.
from the
Central.
Mojave
Okay.
Desert.
There you go. That's what we're going to be watching for. And on Facebook and your YouTube pages. Yes.
I think basically everywhere that there's a social media thing, I think it's probably going to be up
You're
on
gonna
that.
if you follow For King and Country in some way, shape, or form,
You'll know about it. Right?
That's the idea.
All right, and I'm excited because last year we did one really great Christmas show at the
Yeah.
Grand Ole Opry House, and we're going to double that when
Yeah,
we
we're
get back to
back.
the holidays this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's one of the things that we have figured out now after been doing this for a decade, which sounds odd, is that finishing a tour in Nashville, in Tennessee, is a wonderful thing. So
Right.
we're kind of making it a habit now of doing a Christmas tour and then finishing it right here at the Grand Ole Opry. And obviously, for those of you who have gone, it's an amazing place, but those who haven't, it truly is a special experience. There's something about that room,
Yeah.
the people they come with, they
history.
expect something at the Grand Ole Opry, and I think that just creates an enthusiasm that's difficult to match anywhere else.
And we do it up at Christmas.
Do it up at Christmas.
It's really nice here.
yeah,
So everybody
it is
needs to
very
know.
nice here.
Before you leave us, we're going to play another video. This is Relate. So give us the details.
Well, Relate was sort of one of the centerpieces of the record. It was the first single released middle to late last year, and it was really. We've said that What Are We Waiting For is an album. It's a album about family. So there's songs about our parents, siblings, and so on. Luke's son. It's a spiritual album innately. That's sort of part of the DNA of the band, and then it's a global album, and Relate really falls into that global part of it. It's really this idea, similar to Broken Halos, of, hey, if we can just set aside our prejudice, if we can just... what if in this global suffering, where for the first time in human history we've actually been able to experience tragedy together as a planet, what if that could be part of our uniting going forward? And what if that can be part of our relation point? And so that's really what this song speaks about.
The new album, What Are We Waiting For King and Country. Joel, Luke, thank you so much for
Always a
coming by.
pleasure to catch up.
We
Kelly.
love seeing you. As we go to the break, you're going to hear Relate right here on Coffee Country and Cody.
And
We both know what it's like to feel pain. But I think it's safe to say we're on to better days. Can you relate? Can you relate? Have you ever been left when you should have been loved? Has there ever been a time when you stayed but you should have run? 'Cause I've been real, I've been fake.
It's Bill Cody in the morning.
Better than my alarm clock.
Better, stronger, faster.
6:50 a.m. WSM.
Thanks for listening to our Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast. Our program director at WSM Radio is J. Patrick Tittle. Our digital producer is Haley Hall. Marketing and promotions director is Amanda Cannon. And I'm Charlie Matos. If you like what you've heard, make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. And leave us a review on iTunes. It really does help new people find the show.